All right, Texas Tech plays number 20 Texas on Saturday, and game doesn't have quite the excitement that it did a couple years ago when you and I watched those two teams play against each other in Lubbock. But still a good game. Some really good guards on the court in this one. Max Asmus for Texas, Tyrese Hunter, and then you got Pop Isaacs for Texas Tech. I think that's the key. Like Pop Isaacs, who's kind of going through some off the court stuff right now, according to my sources, he's got to play at a high level in this one, really high level.
Yeah, I think he's one. I mean, like, look, when you lose a really skilled wing, okay, who comes in, transfers in from Arizona State, and you feel like, okay, now we kind of rework how we play. And remember, this is Grant's a head coach who traditionally likes to grind it out and play slow. So some of how they play is a little bit of, is this really how he wants to play? Pop Isaacs is tremendous talent, but you got to let him go. You got to let him play. You can't kind of hold on to him, grip onto him too tight. So I think it's going to be interesting. And then, Texas, you got two small guards and how they play. They're still kind of trying to figure it out. Tech's going to be really interesting once they get into league play. And this is a good little snapshot. And Texas, I'm just wondering if they're in that top four. They're probably in the second tier of the Big 12, but I still don't have a great read on them. The Marquette game was the one that just leaves me going like, I can't believe how non-competitive they were in the final tally in that game. So these are two in which I think they're both NCAA tournament teams. I think Texas has a higher ceiling, but I don't know it for a fact. I can't speak on actualities because Texas Tech doesn't have the same roster they had earlier this year, and Texas is still kind of trying to figure out who they want to play when they want to play them.
Yeah, listen, to me, I think Texas Tech is probably an NIT team at the end of the year, but they need a win like this. A win like this would kind of change our thought process right now on the Red Raiders, and really a loss for Texas would also change it because a lot of people put Texas as a preseason top 20, 25 team. I really didn't. I don't think they have that kind of big wing that you can rely on right now. They've got good guards. They've got decent bigs. Remember, Disu wasn't healthy earlier in the year, but even with him and Caden Shedrick, I don't know how well they fit together on the court at the same time. Brock Cunningham's a great piece, but he's not really an offensive threat like that. He's great coming off the bench. So I just don't know how sold I am on either of these teams. I think they both could be teams that you're talking about, bubble teams, come March, come, down the stretch and see how they do in the Big 12 and if they're able to finish in the top 4 or 5.
I think it's going to be really interesting. You look at the guard matchup. You throw Joe Toussaint in there, who, when Joe Toussaint was at Iowa, been really good. And he was good last year at West Virginia, too. Like, they weren't great till they closed really well. But when he was at Iowa, he was a non-scorer. Last year, he started to shoot and score more at West Virginia. Now he's a 15-a-game guy. Like, you have 4 guards that are not 6 feet tall. And they can, you have Toussaint's the most dynamic defensively. Asmus is the most dynamic offensively. Pop Isaac is the wild card. And I mean, like that, it's going to be fun. I don't know how, like you said, how good they are. I actually think they're both probably NCAA tournament teams, or at least Texas is. I'm with you on Tech. Tech could go either way, losing Cambridge for the year. But this is a game where you have 4 6-foot or smaller point guards that can really play.